So the question is that can you grow a longan tree in the Bay Area? And the short answer is yes, yes you can. And evidence of that is there's my longan tree in the back right there. So January 10th, right now, and so it's mid of winter, and so I've had this longan tree for 5 years, and this is my experience for the last 5 years growing the longan tree. So I initially is intrigued in growing a longan tree in the Bay Area as well, and so I looked up on YouTube, and I think Jake Mace was growing his in Arizona, and he covered it with saran wrap, and that didn't work out so well. And so I saw there was a gentleman over at Los Gatos. He was growing it, and he said he didn't have the cover. So I was excited. I got the variety Kohala to grow, and I didn't cover it. So the first 3 years, this is my experience. So I've grown it for 5 years. So my first 5 years, I've ordered from Top Tropical, just as he recommended. So the plant came about that size, so it's about that high. Okay, and then I grew it in the first year, and it grew. So by end of winter came, it grew a little bit, and then when winter came, it died back, right? So I expected this because I saw the YouTube video, and he said that's exactly what's gonna happen. So I expected it to die a little bit, and next year it grew a little bit, and then it died back. It died back to the same point. It didn't grow as much as I thought it would. He said it would grow a lot and then it would die back, but you always have this increase. Well, for 3 years, it grew and then died back to almost the same point. And one of those 3 years, at the end of the 3 years, it grew about that much. It had immature fruits by winter. And because I didn't cover it, the fruits dropped and it died back. So first 3 years, I learned my lesson that you can grow it. The plant will not die out completely, but it won't provide much for you. It it won't fruit, or even when it fruits, it won't mature. So so the last 2 years, I've been doing tarp covers, and so there's also a gentleman over at San Diego, I think, or down in LA area. He grow this and he ships them out in California, and he says that the longan tree needs cover. Well, I didn't do it until 3 years later. So my experience on that is yes, you do need cover, because what happened is that for the first 3 years, my plant just stays at its stage right there. It was that high, and then once I cover it, the growing season got it up to here, and then I cover it, and it didn't die back. It stayed there. And then, this spring, this season, it grew, and it grew a little bit more. And so now I covered it. And as I will take you in there for you to see the plant itself, uh, it did not die back. It stayed where it is. So the tarp I cover, it looks like there's 4 walls, but actually I only covered 3 of the 4 walls. So one of the wall facing the fence is not covered. So, but because the fence is there, it's partially covered. So it's pretty much protected. And so the short answer is yes, you can grow the Kohala longan without cover, but productivity wise, might be a disappointment. So if you want to grow it, you might want to cover it to something like this, to a tarp, and it won't die off. All right, I will take you to the plant right now for you to see what it looks like. So here it is, the longan tree. It's a koala variety, and you can see that this plant here is a good 5 feet of a specimen. So let's see. So the bottom is not covered. The trunk should be okay. Last season I have the cover all the way down, but this season have less of a tarp, so it's not fully covered. But as you can see, all the way to the tip, that tip, this is midwinter, and you can see that that tip is still with a light green, so the protection really helped it. It did have sunburn, but very minimal, you can see. So whatever it did by the end of the season continues to stay there. So one mistake I did have is, by the end of last season, I covered this, but I didn't uncover the top area. So that wooden piece up on top there, did not took that off. And so the plant tried to grow into the sun, and so it grow onto one side. So lessons learned this coming season, I will remove everything, the top to the tarp, and then the top piece as well. So there you go. Yes, you can grow the longan tree in the Bay Area, as long as you have cover. See, you can see it's thriving in mid of winter. So we had uh, this week we'll be having temperatures close to 0 degrees, and we did have temperatures below 40 this week, and you can see it's doing very well. So and yes, you also need to um, um, what is it? Mulch it to keep the ground warm. So don't keep the ground exposed.